guys, welcome back to Let's Vibe Podcast. In today's episode, I'm going to be recapping the start and possible end to my festival season with my first time going across music festival. Welcome back, Vibe Tribe. Thank you so much for being patient while I took a week off the podcast. I took last week off as I was traveling back from San Diego, and I'm still trying to figure out the whole process of recording and editing the episode, so I just ran out of time to have something ready for last week. Nonetheless, I am back and ready to keep this podcast going. Thank you so much for checking it out today and for all your support. Today, we'll be doing my first festival recap on the podcast. Typically, when I do my reviews of a podcast, I'll write a review on my blog and I'll film a YouTube video of my review. When I was doing that process, my YouTube videos were getting to be about pretty lengthy, like 29 to 30 minute videos. And I figured when I started the podcast, it'd be great to just have my recaps on here so I can spill all the tea on everything about the festival and not really have to worry about a time limit or anything like that. I'll still have the blog post on my website, vibewithA.com, so you can check it out there as well. So today we'll be talking about Crossed, my first Crossed experience. It's a house and techno festival in San Diego, so I'll be talking about my initial thoughts of the festival, what happened, what didn't make the vlog, stuff like that. But before we move forward in the episode, I did want to take the time to talk about something that's affecting a lot of us and our community, and that's coronavirus. Next week, I will be talking about this topic more in depth about how we can come together as a community during this time. It's extremely sad and stressful what's been going on, but I want to let you all know that I'm here for you. If you have any questions or comments you'd like me to answer or speak to on this topic, feel free to send them to letsvibepodcast@vibewitha.com. I plan to talk about how this impacts festival season and what you can do about it to take care of yourself and look out for others. I just wanted to bring that up as a lot has happened in the past couple of weeks and it's all changing so fast that it's really been hard for me to make a comment on the topic because everything just keeps on changing. So I really just want to dedicate an episode to that next week and we can kind of just chit chat about it and I can provide some things that we could be doing to help one another since we won't be attending some music festivals that we had planned on and how we can keep our mental health safe and everything like that because we do rely on these music festivals to be that inspiration and source of happiness and stuff and whatnot for us. And when that gets taken away, what could we be doing to kind of replicate that or just to take care of ourselves? So I did want to make a comment on that because it is something that everyone is talking about and I feel like with my platform, I really want to use it as a positive space and a safe space for you guys. So feel free to send any comments or questions you may have. I will talk about some of the festivals that have been canceled. That's more so impacted me as well as a lot of other people since new information is coming out constantly. So yeah, stay safe out there and take care of yourself and just be kind to each other during this time. I am here for you guys. We're all in this together. While you're listening to today's episode, don't forget to take a screenshot and tag me on Instagram where you're listening from at vibewithAid. Feel free to share with a friend today. You know, this podcast just gets mainly out by word of mouth and you guys sharing it. So I really do appreciate you guys and your support. Sadly, I am still not on Apple Podcasts. Something happened with Anchor. I'm working with their support team, so we'll figure it out soon. So I'm trying to get that resolved. But for now, we're on Spotify, YouTube, Breaker, Google Podcasts, and a couple other ones, and the Anchor app as well. So be sure to go check those out there. If you're new to the podcast, I do a little vibe check to start the episode and see how we're feeling. So we'll talk about, what's been going on in my life since a lot has happened, you guys. I have so much to update you on, I feel like. And this is also a good way for you to check in with yourself since this gets posted on Mondays. It's a kind of a good start to your week, hopefully, where I can just check in with y'all and you can check in with yourself and hopefully set yourself up for a good week. So what we'll do right now is just clear our head, take 3 deep breaths. So inhale and exhale. Inhale again. exhale it out. Inhale one more time. And exhale it out. I already feel better after that. And then I'll ask some questions and you guys can think about it for yourself and I will answer them for myself. How am I feeling today? Do I like this feeling? What could make today better? What could I affirm for myself? What am I grateful for today? I'll go ahead and answer, and you can think about yours now as you go. I just realized I did not journal this morning. Oh my God, it's Saturday, March 14th, and I didn't journal this morning. That usually kind of sets me up, and now I'm kind of like, shit, how do I answer this? But that's one thing that I will talk about is I've been off my routine, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. So today I am feeling okay. I went to the grocery store this morning and that was just a cluster fuck. I went to Trader Joe's just to get some frozen stuff and they were like restocking the frozen stuff as it was happening and there's just like so many people. But I got my cauliflower gnocchi, so we're good to go there. And then I went to H-E-B, which is our grocery store here in Austin, Texas, and that was also really crazy and hectic. A lot of my vegan products were not available, like the frozen stuff was not available, so I kind of had to think on my feet for some stuff. I have decided that on Monday, which is today, the day that you guys are listening to it, I am going to fully be focusing and dedicating the rest of my time until my next festival, I guess, to my fitness and my health and everything. I am really, really going to try and go full vegan for like the next month maybe. And I feel like if I aim for a month, then I'm just going to keep doing it. But if you guys hadn't known, I have been trying to be vegan since August of last year, and I have been transitioning slowly but surely. I just really wanted to give myself grace and time to make sure that I could fully sustain this lifestyle, and it's been really great so far. I do have a couple slip-ups from time to time. You know, sometimes some products have dairy or they have eggs in it and you don't realize it. Sometimes I accidentally eat cheese, and while I was home 2 weeks ago, I had cheese and I broke out on my jawline and like above my eyebrow, which is like a clear indicator that I should not be eating cheese. So I kind of had that learning lesson. So yeah, Monday I'm really going to go hardcore in the paint with my health and fitness. You know, if I don't have festivals, I need something to kind of like keep me going, and working out and being healthy definitely does that for me. But yeah, I'm feeling okay today. Last night I had a little game night with friends, just like a small group of people. I went to my last show on Thursday, which is Carl Cox. Today I am just getting stuff done around the house and then have some plans later tonight. So it should be a very chill weekend. I am really sad that Buku got canceled, which was supposed to be next weekend. Well, it got postponed to Labor Day weekend. So I'm not really sure if I'll be going just yet. Again, play by ear as everything kind of develops. And then yesterday I had a good old cry in my car because Lightning in a Bottle was canceled and there was no announcement of it rescheduling. There was no announcement of refunds or anything like that as of right now, which really just broke my heart. That was one of the festivals I was really looking forward to this year, along with Electric Forest. So Electric Forest is in my prayers that that's still happening, but Lightning in a Bottle getting canceled, I was just so looking forward to that festival with everything that's been happening this year with me, with my breakup, the car accident, just everything. Like, that was one festival I was really looking forward to based on what I had heard about it and how life-changing it is and how impactful it is. So yeah, that was a really big bummer, but I'm hoping and praying that the Do Lab is going to be okay and that company is going to be okay. They're family-run business, so that is something that can be really potentially bad for them to cancel because they might not be able to bounce back from that. So I'm keeping them in my thoughts and my prayers, as well as a bunch of other people and like this whole world, honestly. But yeah, so it's been a very weird, hard week. I am working from home temporarily until further notice, basically. So I'm going to have to find ways to not go crazy being in my apartment. I like working from home, but like I know I need to like go out and take a walk from time to time. So maybe if you guys are also working from home, I'll hopefully be able to get some tips for you guys on how to stay productive and stuff like that. Let me know if that's something you would like to see. That was a really long answer to how I'm feeling, but like I said, I had to update you guys. What could I do to make what I'm feeling better, or is there a need to? I did delete my social media for the weekend, so that really helped. I was just getting so tired of seeing all the negativity, all the sadness, seeing festivals getting canceled left and right, and people tagging me in it or people messaging me in it. I really do love you guys, but you messaging me, is this festival going to get canceled? Is that festival going to get canceled? Or you tagging me in festivals that I was attending getting canceled, their announcements just is really hard on me. So many people commented and messaged me after Lightning in a Bottle announced it that I literally just like broke down. Like I shut off and I just deleted all my apps because I just couldn't deal with it anymore. So that was something I did to help my mental state feel a little bit better. Right now I'm feeling okay, like I said, so I'm going to yoga later today, which I think will really help just clear my headspace and just kind of like reframe everything. So I am excited about that. 3 things I'm grateful for today. Number 1, cauliflower gnocchi from Trader Joe's. I feel really grateful I was able to snag some because that is like one of my favorites. Staples in my kitchen and what I like to make for myself on the weekend. So I'm really glad I was able to cop some of that. I know that sounds super dumb, but number 2, I'm really grateful my friend Amanda is in town this weekend. She was one of my first friends in Austin, and she had moved back to Arizona where she's from. I think it's been almost a year now, actually. I think she started with this school year, so it'll be almost a year that she's been gone. But she came back to visit for her spring break, so it's been really great to see her and catch up with her, and I'll get to see her again throughout the weekend. She was like one of my first friends, so I'm really grateful she was able to come back to visit us, and I hope that she'll be able to travel safely back to Arizona with everything going on. Number 3, I would like to say I am very grateful for my support system that I have in place, especially with the creators. So I am really going to say I'm grateful for Emma Capotis and Ashley Gauthier today. We have our own little group chat, and just having them and being able to vent to them and being able to just like talk through stuff as a creator, but then also like with all the stuff that we've been going through, like having our festivals get canceled or postponed and everything like that. It's been really great to have them to lean on and as a way of support and just talk through things. So I am really grateful for you ladies if you're listening. I love you guys. And then lastly, my affirmation for today. Ooh, what is a good one? I have been saying lately that the universe is working in my favor, which I think it still is. Even though festivals are getting canceled, I think everything happens for a reason. Emma's been talking to us about, stuff that's coming on the bright side of this, what can come out of this. She's been really awesome and positive throughout this whole thing. And I've been really positive, but when you get Buku and Lightning in a Bottle canceled in 1 week, it just really weighs down on you. So I've been trying to get back to finding the positivity and the gratitude in all of these situations. And I really do think that with these festivals getting canceled, it's really allowing me to slow down. Because if you think about it, I would have had a week off, and then I would have gone to Buku, and then a couple weeks later, I would have had to go to Coachella, and then a couple weeks later, I would have had to gone to Lightning in a Bottle, and like just one after the other. You know what I mean? So I would have constantly been traveling a lot, and so maybe this is a sign for us to all just slow down, take care of ourselves, get back to, taking care of ourselves and care about our relationships, our friendships, stuff like that. We're constantly going and going and going. So maybe this is our sign to kind of slow down. And I'm taking that as my sign to slow down. And I think this will be a really great time for me creatively because I can do other things that I'm passionate about and share with you guys. You guys are really interested in seeing a bunch of other topics that I didn't really know that you guys would be interested in seeing. So I think it's really going to challenge me creatively. I also will be saving money, so that'll be great. I should be getting my tax return soon, which I'm really excited about. I'm hoping to invest in myself with Final Cut Pro, so this could be a good time for me to learn how to edit on a new system and everything, because I've been using iMovie for the past almost 2 years now, so it'd be really great to kind of invest in myself during this time. So, the universe is working in my favor. Something is going on. Everything is happening for a reason. And while it's not apparent now, it will be soon. So that is it for this week's vibe check. I know it was a lengthy one, but because I took a week off, I had some stuff to update you guys on. A lot has been happening for little old Aid here. A lot of realizations, a lot of things going on. So it's been really crazy and really awesome. I feel really blessed and grateful for some of the stuff that has happened to me earlier this year because it's gotten me to sit right here with you guys. And I really do love doing this. So that is it for this week's vibe check. I hope this was helpful for you guys. I hope you guys are able to check in with yourself, check in with your friends, check in with your family, whatever it may be, and just be there for one another and be there for yourself. I'm going to take a quick break and then we will get into my review of Cross. So while we are taking this quick break, I did want to call out to something that is really important during this time, and that is supporting small businesses and local businesses, especially in the festival space. I think it is so important to continue to support our small shops and businesses while we can. If you go on my Instagram and you go to my Instagram story highlight called Codes, you'll see all the small businesses that I support. If you look in like my festival lookbook videos on YouTube or any of the fashion videos I have, you'll see some other shops that I do support. I think it is so important to continue to support these shops because this is their livelihood, and if there are no festivals happening, they are going to see a significant drop in people purchasing. So I highly recommend continue to shop from them. If you are interested in being a creator, this is a really great time to purchase some outfits and create some content with it. You can have photo shoots in your apartment. You can have photo shoots with a friend. I've had friends take photos of me. This is a really good time to get creative. So I highly recommend keep on supporting the small shops and businesses, keep them thriving because this is their livelihood. And I feel so sad for them. And then on the second part of that, your local businesses that you have in your area or anything like that, do what you can to continue to support them during this time. They need us more than ever. Now, this is such a crazy time we are living in, and so we all just need to be aware and be able to help each other out from time to time. Let's just keep on spreading the good vibes around, everyone. Alrighty, so like I said, this is my first time doing a recap on the podcast. So I have my blog post up and I'm just going to kind of talk through that blog post and kind of add some more detail here and there. We'll see how this layout goes. We'll see how this format works and everything like that. I do have 3 vlogs up on my YouTube channel. I have a vlog from day 0, which was my first 2 days in San Diego. That Thursday and Friday, I did like a little exploring. We went to Will Clark's pre-party at Spin. And then then we have day 1 and day 2 from the actual festival. So you guys can go check out those vlogs just to see how everything kind of worked out in real time and everything like that. And then this review will just kind of get more into the nitty-gritty details, and you can read the review later on my website, vibewithA.com. I'll talk a little bit more about what Crossed is. So it is a house and techno festival. It is a 2-day festival that happens in March and in September at Waterfront Park in San Diego, which is kind of like downtown, I think, and off like a harbor. So it's a really interesting, cool venue. I first heard about Crossed, oh boy, I want to say it was like 2017, 2016 maybe that I heard about it. And it just never really worked out because 2017 was the year that I moved to Texas. And then after that, timing just never really worked out between other festivals I was going to, or the September date never really worked for me because I was always moving, like moving apartments or moving to Texas, whatever it may be. So I was really trying to go last September, but then I got signed on to do Imagine Music Festival as a content creator. So that did not work out. So I was really bummed out about that. And I have friends that live in San Diego. So I was kind of like getting so antsy. But then when they announced the March dates, I was like, all right, this is it. Like, I have to make this work. I really wanted to go to Okeechobee, but I just wanted to go to Crossed more because it's been so long that I've been wanting to go. So I decided to send it. So the ticket was $200, which for 2 days I did not think that was bad at all. I think I got like the third tier, I want to say. I didn't get the early bird, and I didn't get the one below that. So I think I got the $200 ticket. I think tickets, if you weren't that, it was like $150 or $175. So it's not that much of a difference between the early bird and then the tier that I got. So that worked out really well. I got really lucky that I do have friends that live in San Diego. So I had originally planned to fly in that Friday and fly out that Monday. But because I was staying in Arizona the week before, I decided to go on that Thursday. That way I could make sure that I got to see my friends and everything and got some good one-on-one time with everyone and just made sure I got enough time to do that. Since festivals are so chaotic, it's really hard to catch up with a friend you haven't seen in years in the middle of a house set or a techno set, you know what I mean? So I was able to go on that Thursday, and I flew in, and my friend Rachel, she's Little Cheese Stick on social media, she picked me up and I got to stay with her, which worked out really well. We had met each other at a festival at EDC 2017, and then we've met up at other festivals, but this was actually our first time attending a festival together, which is so crazy because we're so close. Like, we text all the time and we're always in contact. And then this was like our first actual festival and like time that we got to spend together. So it was really awesome to get to be with her. And that Thursday night, I got to see my roommate, Gabby, who was my roommate in college for 2 years, and she's so awesome. It was really awesome to catch up with her. And then Friday, we checked into our Airbnb, and our whole squad came, and that's when kind of everyone came in, and we went to the Will Clark pre-party and everything like that. So that was kind of the pre-festival planning and everything. Our Airbnb was about a 10 to 15 minute drive from the venue. My friend Lizzie had booked it, and I have a little story time about that later on in this episode. If you are thinking about going to Cross, just to give you guys an idea about what some of the costs were. So the ticket was $200. We had bought pre-party and after-party tickets. I think the pre-party tickets were around like $30 or $40. And then the after-party ticket for Steve Darko and Sasha Robati on that Saturday was $50. So we spent about $90. Outfits, I rewore and borrowed a lot of different stuff. I had only bought one cropped hoodie, and that was like $35 from Dolls Kill. I did buy the House and Techno jacket, which was so freaking dope to get that. I was so happy. It was $100 for that jacket, but it was really worth it. It was like such good quality, so I get it, and I'm never taking that jacket off. Food and drink at the festival total to be about $75. One White Claw was $12. Like, excuse me. And they had really good vegan food, so that was definitely worth the price. But $12. It was a small White Claw too. Like, it was one of the small ones. I was so pissed. And then Ubers and Lyfts total to be about $60. The pricing for Ubers and Lyfts was not as bad as I thought it would be, so that was like very okay. And we split with our friends all weekend. So I estimated the trip was about $800-ish, maybe closer to $900. I'm really trying to be a little bit better about tracking my spending for festivals just to see where I could save, but also to let you guys know about what this type of festival would entail if you were to go. And of course, if you decided to not do pre-parties or after parties, that's where you could take it out. Like, I spent $100 on merch. Like, I could have saved money that way. But I really needed that damn jacket. Like, I needed it. So let's talk about the actual festival itself. Getting to and from the venue. So we didn't really have too many issues. We had to Uber everywhere, basically. I don't really think there was a way to park downtown. Like, it doesn't really look like there was much parking. So we decided to do ride shares. On the first day, we got there when doors opened, which was at noon. We had to start so early. I think we woke up at like 7:30 and started getting ready and like pre-gaming and stuff because we had to get there around noon, which means we left, I think, our Airbnb around 11:15, and we got an Uber XL. We went early because we wanted to be the first people that got merch, and because I was getting that House and Techno jacket, I really needed a size small because they run a little bit big. They're unisex jackets. So we wanted to be the first ones there. So we were like probably the first 20 people in that venue, which was really funny. Security wasn't that bad. They weren't really checking a whole lot, I think because we were the first groups of people. But I heard later on that day, during day one, like they were checking shoes, they were definitely checking like every single pocket and stuff like that. We took an Uber XL getting there, and I think it was about like $40, which isn't bad when you're splitting with like 5 or 6 people. And then day 2, we got there closer to 4:30, and I think the pricing was about the same for, I think we took an Uber XL that day as well. And on the way back, we left early and we did Uber X because we just had 4 people going back, and when it was about $20. And then on the last day, we left at the very end, and that was about $60 for one Uber X, so between 4 people. But I didn't really think that was that bad compared to some other festivals where it's like $100, $200, stuff like that to get home. So all in all, I didn't really think that getting to and from the venue wasn't bad. It was a very easy process. One thing is that when you are leaving, walk a couple blocks away. That way you're just kind of away from the commotion of everything, and you can order your Uber from there. So we walked a couple of blocks away from the venue and ordered our Uber that way. So with security, like I said, day 1, they did not really check us, but that's because we got there super early. I think whenever you go later, security just gets pissed off, or they're just not having it. So they do tend to get a little bit more thorough. So day 2, we went a little later, and it was around 4:30. The line really didn't take that long. It looked long, but it really didn't take that long. The first section, they would check your ID because it is a 21 plus festival, so I'll talk a little bit more about that. And then they checked our bags and like your body and everything like that. And day 2, they were definitely checking pockets. Like they were checking like the smallest pockets. They were checking shoes. They weren't making you take off shoes, but they were just like patting it down. And then the next section, they would just scan your ticket. All in all, that process, I think, took about 15 minutes. When we went day 1, it took like 5 minutes because we were like the first people there. I didn't think like security was that bad. Okay, the venue and layout. I freaking loved this venue. Like, I was so blown away by it. It was so beautiful. So basically, like when you walk in to your right, you have this beautiful city landscape of San Diego. There's this really tall building. It's almost like a city hall. I don't think it's actually city hall, but like it looks like that. It looks like a town hall. I don't know. It's just beautiful. And then on the left-hand side, you have the water, and you see these boats there and everything. And 2 of the boats that were docked right near it were the boats that were for the after parties. So it was just really cool, and I really liked the venue. And during the day, like we lucked out so well with the weather that it was just it was a gorgeous day, gorgeous venue. And then when it comes to nighttime, they like have their little snake symbol like on the building. They have lights everywhere. I just really loved it. There was 3 stages, and there's also 2 fountains that you could like actually walk through. I thought people like didn't do that, but people like were running through the fountains. They had their feet in the water. Really fun. I didn't do that. I don't know why I didn't do that. I think I was just being lazy, not taking my shoes and socks off, but people were doing that. People got cute photos in them. There was a ton of food and drink options, tons of vegan options. I was so happy. I did really like the layout. It did feel really long, like lengthwise, but in general, I thought it was like everything was really well spaced out, and there wasn't any sound bleed, which, I appreciate a lot when there's no sound bleed because that's always so annoying when you can hear other songs. The only thing that I thought was kind of a little bit messy was the lockers were right near the entrance and exit, which is great when you're entering because then you can just throw your stuff in the locker when you enter and be good to go. But when we were exiting on day 2, it was such a mess to get out because people are exiting. People are also using the lockers as like a pinpoint meeting place. Like, oh yeah, let's meet by the lockers because we have to get our stuff. So that was the only thing that I think could be improved upon, but it was fine. I mean, I just felt like we were little sardines just navigating, trying to get out. It was kind of stressful. A 21 plus festival, you guys. This was a game changer. So I had been on Holy Ship, which was 21 plus, and that was kind of different, I feel like, because it's like you're on a boat, you're at a festival, but you're also on a cruise ship. You're kind of on vacation, you know what I mean? But with Cross being a 21 plus festival, I thought it was such a game changer. It was so nice. Everyone was just like, you know, adults having a good time. You know, there wasn't really young kids that were just like off their shit. You know what I mean? So I really enjoyed the 21 plus factor, and you didn't have to get ID'd every time when you go get drinks and stuff. Like everyone's just 21. And I'll talk a little bit more about the crowd as well later on. Stages and production. So there are 3 stages. There is the Palms, City Steps, and Ocean View. The first stage that you see when you walk in is the Palms stage. This was the house stage. I was really looking forward to this stage because I think I've seen videos of it the most. It usually has like these umbrellas under it and has like these trees kind of setting and everything like that because it's called the Palms. This was the house stage, tech house stage. This is where Chris Lake played. This is where Steve Darko played, Sasha Robati. I really enjoyed this stage a lot, and Patrick Topping was at this stage. It was a really good vibe. Purple Disco Machine also played at this stage. That I heard a lot of good things about that set. I was at Charlotte DeWitt at the time. City Steps, which is near the building that I'm talking about that I think is a town hall or something, but it has these steps up it, which you can see that photo of me on it in my day 2 outfit on my Instagram. But this one has, this one was like your techno stage, so it had like a dark kind of covering above it. I kind of gave it this underground kind of feeling that I really enjoyed. If you were standing facing the stage to the right of it, you had a really good shot of the water and everything. So it was really cool scene. This is where that kind of like city but water vibe kind of came into play a lot. And then the final stage is Ocean View. So that was main stage. I heard that there was some updates to this stage in terms of production, meaning like they had more light fixtures and stuff like that. And a lot of people were kind of debating whether they liked that or not. I would be interested to see what the stage looked like last year or like in years past. But I really liked it. I thought it was a really cool stage. And what we had done is that there's a fountain right next to main stage, but there's like an upper level. So you go up the stairs and you get to like the porta potties and stuff. So for Nora and Pure, we went up the stairs and we stayed up on that upper level. And oh my God, you guys, like that view of that stage, but then the water as the sun was setting, go watch the vlog. It was the most beautiful set I've ever seen. Like it was just so gorgeous. Like the weather was perfect. Everything about that moment was perfect. I really liked that stage. Also on that stage was like Gus Athelstein, Rufus Du Sol. A lot of the live acts and artists were on that stage. Also on the techno stage was Charlotte DeWitt, Carl Cox, a lot of other techno artists. I think Mark Knight, Back to Back Technasia was on that one, which was also a really good set. Okay, so the crowd. Everyone wants to know the tea on the crowd. I honestly didn't mind the crowd. A lot of people were really like upset by the crowd, but I didn't really mind it. I thought it was a good crowd. Except for the occasional, like, people just don't say excuse me anymore. That's just kind of like a given. I can't even get mad about it anymore or, like, surprised about it anymore because that's just how it is now. There is an interesting dynamic with the crowd, though, because you have your people that, like, love house and techno. But then you have your people that live in San Diego that are just kind of looking for a good time, which kind of is what happens in Austin with Austin City Limits. Like, you have your people there that live in Austin that just, like, love going to ACL every year. You have your music lovers, and then you have people that are just there for a good time and don't really know anything about anything. So that's kind of what I felt. Like, I remember I've talked to a girl that I met at a conference the week before Cross, and I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to Cross. Like, I'm so excited. And she was like, oh, I'm from there. Like, I'm from San Diego. I've been across so many times. And she was like, who are you excited to see? And I named like, oh, I'm so excited to see Chris Lake, Charlotte DeWitt, Carl Cox. And she was like, I have no idea who these people are. Like, I honestly just go to have a good time. I never really know who's playing. And I was like so stunned by that. But then talking to some other people, that's kind of like what it is that people are just there to have a good time. Which is fine and all, like, do what you want. But I just thought that was interesting. But again, like, everyone I met was really nice. Anyone that I like vibed out in the crowd with was really nice. The only thing was people weren't saying excuse me. The weather was really great, so I did mention that in my review. Another thing I will mention is that the porta potty situation wasn't bad, but they did also have a lot of hand sanitizer stations, so that was really awesome to see that, as we had some concerns about the coronavirus, and I am really glad that I was able to attend this festival. Last thing I will say about like the actual festival itself was the food and drinks. So I really loved the food. They had spicy pie. I didn't get to eat it because that has cheese. They had big mozzarella sticks, which I did have one because I haven't had those since Electric Forest 2018, and they're so good. That was my one little splurge, and that's why I'm like, okay, I'm back to vegan food. But they had so many vegan options, which I was so happy. They had like these vegan buffalo tots that were so fire. And then the only other thing I had to talk about was that they had $12 White Claws. All the other drinks were really good. They also had a really good hard kombucha that like always had a line for it. And if you guys know, I'm obsessed with lemonade, and the lemonade was really good at Cross. It was, I think, the same vendor or same type that gets sold at Electric Forest. So, I loved that lemonade. It was so refreshing. Now we're going to get into the day recap. So I'm going to just talk a little bit more about what happened each day and just kind of talk a little bit more about it. So day one, like I said, we got there super early. Our group decided to do an animal print day and be like party animals. It was very interesting that a lot of other people also dressed up in like animal skin print. I was thinking that that was like so funny, just seeing everyone else dressed up like that. I don't know why. I just thought it was cool. And then, so we got there super early. We got there at 12. And then the first person that I wanted to see was Pluko. So we did get to see a little bit of him. And I was supposed to see him at Buku, but then Buku got canceled. So I do hope I get to see him again. He's fairly new. He's kind of like your future base. Flume. Bank is another good one. Shallow. Kind of all in that same realm. And then we did hang out a little bit and got some food. And then we saw Cassian for a little bit as well. He has a really good mix on SoundCloud that's on Triple J that I highly recommend checking out. He does a lot of good remix of like Rufus and like stuff like that. So I definitely think you should check him out. He's also one to watch. He did a live set of everything too. Very vibey, deep house kind of set. And then we popped over to DJ Holographic. She has been on a lot of my lineups that I have coming up. I think Lightning in a Bottle and Electric Forest, even though Lightning in a Bottle did get canceled. But because I was seeing her name everywhere, we really wanted to check her out. She was really awesome. Kind of disco, funky house. I really, really liked her. And then we popped over to Radio Slave for a little bit at City Step. So that was my first little techno experience. I ran into Jake Ryan Duh, who is so awesome. He's a king. He has like 100K followers on Instagram. He's like one of the OGs, honestly. And so we saw him for a bit. And then I think we did pop over to, I can't remember who we saw after that. We were kind of walking around after that for a little bit. And then we did see Mark Knight back-to-back Technasia, because we were supposed to go to Sasha Robati and Steve Darko's after party, and I'll get into why that didn't happen. So we saw a little bit of that back-to-back, and then we went and saw Nora and Pure, and like I talked about, was the most beautiful set I've ever seen. Just seeing the sunset and her and everything was just so freaking beautiful. I could wish, our group was just like, we need to savor this moment forever. Just so grateful for that moment. And that we all got to experience it together, because literally after that, everything went to shit. So after that happened, we went to Too Many DJs back-to-back Brodinski, because we were trying to find our friends. So we were walking past that stage, and then we walked past Pig and Dan a little bit. It was around 7-ish, I want to say, where we found our friends. They were all getting food. And we had found out that we got kicked out of our Airbnb. So let me back up a little bit. On day 0, like I talked about, we went to Will Clark's party. Before that, one of our friends, Lizzie, had invited some friends over. We were all just having a good time, just hanging out, whatever. It was 8 o'clock at night. We weren't making too much of a ruckus. We were all just hanging out, very small group, whatever. And then we went to Will Clark, and there was a group that went to this show that was put on by Boys House, which is a group, the collective that plays house music, I think. I had met them that night. But we were all at Will Clark and they were at that show. And our show went till 4 a.m., but I think we got back by 4 a.m. and I passed out. I was so tired. It'd been a very long day and I was on Texas time, so I was having to deal with that. When some of the people came back to our Airbnb that Friday night, they were just pretty loud and like neighbors got really upset. And one of the neighbors like set off his car alarm just to like try and get people to leave or something. I don't know. My friend Rachel said it was pretty loud, but I, again, was passed out because I was so tired that I just did not hear any of it. And so we woke up Saturday morning kind of with like a warning, and our Airbnb host was kind of like, my neighbors are pretty upset, like just keep it down the rest of the weekend, keep it low key the rest of the weekend, whatever. And then she also had a Ring camera in her garage. So I think she also thought that like more people were staying at the Airbnb than were supposed to be. But there wasn't. We had the right amount of people. So I think she was just worried about like how many people were coming in and out and stuff. Fast forward to being at the festival. We had gone to the festival separately from our friends Lizzie and Ange. And so when we met up with everyone at that point at 7 o'clock, I guess like another thing had happened where like more people kind of showed up after we left to pregame or something like that happened. It was just more people coming in and out, lots of cars, and we were in a pretty nice neighborhood in San Diego. So when we all met up at 7 o'clock, we basically like had gotten an email that our reservation was getting canceled, and we were all like, okay, well, what the fuck do we do now? Like, are we supposed to leave? Like, we still have Patrick Topping to see. We still have Chris Lake as Athelstein. Like, the festival ends at 11 o'clock. Like, what are we supposed to do? And we were all in festival mode, so we weren't really in a place to be leaving the festival and go sort this out, if you get what I'm saying. It was a very, like, what do we do? But luckily, we were able to get in touch with our Airbnb host, and we just kind of let her know, like, hey, we're so sorry that this happened. Are we able to come back after the festival and, like, pack up and be out by whatever time? Just because, like, none of us were really in a state to drive or anything like that, because we've been drinking and stuff like that. So it's like, what do we do? And luckily she was pretty understanding, and she was like, okay, yeah, that's fine. Like, I'm sorry I had to come to this. Like, my neighbors are just upset, and, you know, I have a business to run, blah, 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 blah. And we were like, okay, whatever. It was hard to have a good rest of the festival day one, knowing that we, like, had to go back and pack up and stuff. But we made the most of it. We saw Patrick Topping. He had an 1.5-hour set, which was a really good set. That was my first time seeing Patrick Topping, and I was just really glad I got to see him at least, because that was someone that I was really looking forward to. And then we decided that we would leave at 10 p.m. just to get a head start from the rest of the crowd. And so we saw the first 30 minutes of Chris Lake, and I didn't get to see any of Gazafelstein because he was on at 9:45, and he was on the other side of the festival. So I would have been holding up the group had I gone to see him. Sadly, did not get to see Gazafelstein, which I'm really sad about. Hopefully I'll get another chance to. I'm not too sure. And then I did get to see 30 minutes of Chris Lake, though, which, if you guys know, that's like one of my favorite artists. So, and that was a really good 30 minutes. Like, I was telling people, I was like, he is going off right now. Like, I wish we could see the full set because this is like so good. You know what I mean? Like, it was way better than his Seismic set. So I was just like, damn it. Like, why do we have to leave? So we end up, like, leaving and going back to the Airbnb and packing everything up. I really don't know how I managed to pack everything, because we basically moved into this Airbnb, you know, like, we set up. We were ready to go. So it was really hard to just, like, pack up. But we figured it out. And my friend Rachel lives in San Diego, so we were able to go with her. So me, Steven, and Jackson went with Rachel, and then our friends Angie and Lizzie went with some of the boys that they knew, and then our friend Higgy went with our friend Abner. And we still had tickets to go to the after party on the boat, but the boat docked off at a certain point, so we were just kind of like, do we send it? Do we not send it? Our friend Higgy still sent it to the boat. Somehow, some way, he still made it on that boat. But me, Rachel, Jackson, and Steven were all kind of like, like, it's hard to pump yourself back up after, like, going through all of that, and like we were just so tired that we were like, no, let's just like hang out at home. So we ended up just binge watching like David Dobrik videos for like hours on end and just like hung out and like recapped the day, and like it was still a fun day and we had a good time, and like now this just makes for a funny story. Like of course this happened to us, you know what I mean? That was like my day one recap and a little story time with that. My favorite sets, definitely Norin Pure and Patrick Topping, I think were my top 2 sets for the day. Really wish I got to see Gazaffelstein, but it's totally okay. You know, he doesn't tour, so I don't know if I'll ever be able to see him, but one day it'll work out again, I think. And if you want to watch what that day looked like after my little story time, you can definitely go check out the vlog on my YouTube channel. Day 2. So day 2 was our disco day fit. We did that because of Purple Disco Machine, which I didn't even get to see. I saw Charlotte DeWitt instead and literally have no regrets about that. But day 2, we got there a little later because we were honestly running very slow on time. I feel like I didn't really get that much sleep or that well of sleep. We were watching David Dobrik for so long, and I think I passed out at some point, but I still felt so tired the next morning. So we were running very, very slow, and like we got breakfast and stuff. We were definitely taking our time, which was a little unfortunate because I did want to see Evan Gia at 1:45 and Ben Bomer at 2:30. By the time we got our shit together, we saw like the last 30 minutes of Steve Darko, which was really good because we didn't get to see him on the boat. So we did get to see him then. He's a really great Dirty Bird artist. If you guys have not checked him out, I highly recommend it. And then we saw a little bit of Archie Hamilton, which I was really digging. I really enjoyed that set. He was a really good groovy house kind of vibe. And then we popped over City Steps for Charlotte DeWitt. And man, oh man, was that insane. That was like my first full techno set that I like truly enjoyed every minute of it. She is so good at what she does, and I just absolutely loved it. She killed it. And she was also at Sunset, so we were like thriving like techno at Sunset, you know, like going from light to dark and everything like that. And then we got to witness the very famous Carl Cox, and we saw the first hour of his set, and it was so freaking amazing. And then I got to see a 4-hour set from him on Thursday, which was so much fun. I love Carl Cox now. I'm a huge stan. I love him. I get it. I get why people traveled to see him and everything like that. And I'm really glad I got to experience that. Finally, we got to round it out and go on a little feelsy, vibey trip with Rufus Du Sol. My heart. This set, like, oh my God. It was an hour-long set, and it was their live set. I just saw them last year, I think in like July or something. My ex and I had gone together. This was a shorter set, but it was so, so good. And they had a little bit of like newer live edits, which I was surprised by. I did cry. I did have a moment when they played Soulless, which was basically like a song I listened to when my ex and I first broke up. And I just like broke down and had a moment, and it was fine. It felt really good. It felt therapeutic. It felt like I needed to do that. That was like my first time I'd cried at a set in a really long time, and you know, it was okay. That set was still really amazing, and like me and my friend Kim were just like crying together and having a moment together, and it was just really special. So I highly recommend, if you get a chance to see Rufus Du Sol, definitely go check it out. I think my top 3, honestly, from that day was Charlotte DeWitt, Carl Cox, Rufus Du Sol. All in all, a good time. Was there anything else from day 2? We didn't do any after parties. We stayed till the very end, but we didn't do any after parties and just head home. And then we just hung out again, watched more David Dobrik, got some Taco Bell, and just vegged out. And then the next day we had to pack up and go home. So I was home Monday towards the afternoon. And I've just been recovering ever since then. I miss Cross so much. I definitely will talk a little bit more about, will I ever attend again? So last thing I will wrap up about Crossed are some pros and cons, just to kind of bring it high level of some things that I liked and things that I did not like. So some pros: location, San Diego, all of it was top notch. My friend Gabby was telling me I should move to San Diego, and honestly, I would think about it. I love Austin, but San Diego was so, so much fun. But yeah, I still love Austin, but like San Diego, but like Austin. The music, every set brought it. I loved how diverse the lineup is. I love that it was spread out between the different stages, and it really just played to a bunch of different people's tastes. And, you know, I really did not see a bad set, and it was all really good. Food, I love that there was tons of options to choose from. I love that they had hand sanitizer at all the bathrooms and were constantly refilling them. I thought security was an easy process compared to some of the other ones. I thought crowd was pretty friendly aside from navigating the crowd when saying excuse me and whatnot. And then some cons. So $12 for a White Claw. Come on, sis. If you're going to charge me that much, at least give me like the big one. You know what I mean? Another con is to say excuse me when you go through the crowd. And finally, exiting the festival was messy, but expected. I normally leave like a little bit early, but we stayed the full time because Rufus Du Sol only had an hour set, and you got to honor that. So it was a little messy getting out, but we made it work. So now the big question. Will I ever go to Crossed again? And I would love to. I hope I can go to future Cross. I don't know if I'll be able to go to the one in September just because fall is already looking fucking crazy. But yeah, I really would love to go again. I loved Cross so much. And because they have a twice a year, that makes me really happy because I can at least go once a year, you know. I can either go to the March date or the September date and make whatever work. But I see why so many people love this festival. It is such a good time. And even though it's a 2-day event, I think it's so much fun. I wish it was 3 days, but you can make it 3 days with like the pre-parties and stuff, which we did have an awesome time at Will Clark. I didn't really talk about that, but we went to Spin nightclub, and it was such a fun little nightclub, and like doing an open to close set was really fun with everyone, and it was a great way to kind of kick off the weekend. But yeah, I really think Cross is an amazing festival, and if you really love house and techno, like you would really enjoy this festival. So I highly, highly recommend it to anyone going. I'll hopefully be able to do some like outfit videos and tip videos if you're interested in going in the future. Let me know if that's something you would like to see. Be sure to check out the vlogs if you haven't yet, just to see what it was like, get a feel for the vibe. I feel like a lot of people could tell that it was a really good time and that I had a really awesome time. I really didn't get to talk about this yet, but Cross was an amazing weekend for me. Like I just felt I was so present, and I really was just enjoying the people I was with. This was my first festival without my ex, and so I really felt like I could do it. You know what I mean? I was already planning on going to this festival without him, but like this was my first festival, like knowing that like he wasn't there, we weren't texting or like in communication with each other or anything. So it was very weird, but you know, I made it through, and I'm very proud about that. And it was a really good mark, I guess, of like realizing how far I've come since then, and that if I've made it this far, I can keep going. It's been a month and a couple of weeks since we broke up, and it's been a month since we last spoke. So I have a long ways to go, but this was definitely a good reminder that I have come very far and that I do have a lot going for me, and it's all going to be okay. So I'm really glad that even though some of my other festivals are getting postponed or canceled, that I did get to have this experience, and I'm so, so grateful for it. And it's definitely going to hold me over until I get to go to the next festival. So I hope you guys enjoyed tuning into today's episode. Let me know what you guys think. Like I said, it was a really amazing weekend for me, and I hope this brought you guys some more info to you about this festival if you hope to attend it one day. Stay tuned for next week, where I'll talk about how we can get through the coronavirus blues together. Feel free to submit any questions or comments regarding that topic to Let's Vibe Podcast at vibewitha.com. Or if you have any feedback or content ideas, I'd greatly appreciate it. Since I'm having to move around and change a lot of my content, I'm really open to whatever. So please submit any ideas you guys might have. If there's any guests you want me to have. This was episode 6, so I am planning to do my first guest on episode 10, and I won't share who that is, even though you already know her. But yeah, so I'm really open to whatever. Feel free to send any ideas that you guys might have. I love you guys so, so much. Thank you guys for tuning into Let's Vibe Podcast. Have a good week and stay vibey, Vibe Tribe.